Hi. So we are continuing with our program, the prelims, target prelims 2021 in the economic series. So now we are going to see about the DICGC, Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. What is this Credit Guarantee Corporation is all about? See, the DICGC was established in 1961. So it is a Deposit Insurance Credit Guarantee Corporation. Under the Deposit Insurance Credit Guarantee Act only, CG Act, it was established. And under this act, it was mandate that all types of banks must buy insurance on their deposits deposited or deposit accounts. Whatever the accounts which have been deposited in the banks, they have to buy the insurance from the DICGC, and banks will pay a premium, to this one they will pay the premium for their insurance. So this DICG is owned 100% by the RBI government. It is owned by the RBI, Reserve Bank of India, and one of the deputy governor will be acting as a chairman for this, and the headquarters are in Mumbai. So what is this function? That whenever the banks fail or shut down, in this case, what will happen? The DICGC will pay a premium of 1 lakh rupees to the, that means they will pay up to 1 lakh of rupees to the insurance to every deposit holders for his principal and interest. 1 lakh of rupees they will be paid. But in the budget 2020, this has increased to 5 lakhs coverage. And previously, DICG provides guaranteed cover to banks on the loans guaranteed to the priority sector borrowers. That means the DGCI will provide the bank the insurance or the cover for the loss of loans for the priority sector borrowers. Like for example, if A has taken a loan from the bank under the PSL, priority sector lending. Now under this, if they are taking the loan, if they are not paying, A is not paying or did not pay the loan. So actually what happens, this DICG would cover losses for the banks. Okay, they are called as, now the DGCGC will cover the losses, and they are called as Credit Guarantee Corporation. They are Credit Guarantee Corporation. So Credit Guarantee Corporation was there 100%. This is called DICGC. But with the setting up of SIDBI in 1990, and also National Credit Guarantee Trust Company, National Credit Guarantee Trust Company, what happened in the year 2016, the role of DGCI, credit guarantee work, has been divided among these two. Okay, but there are limitations, you see. What are the limitations is, if a customer, suppose A is there, A is depositing in the bank more than 5 lakhs in the single commercial bank or cooperative bank, then more than 5 lakh he will not get. If the bank is in the failed or shut down, he will not get more than whatever the extra is there, but only 5 lakhs rupees he will get it, only 5 lakhs, and the remaining amount will be decided by the RBI or Cooperative Register Liquidity of the bank. So they have to decide it, right? So this is one of the drawback of your DICGC. Now next one, bad banks. What are bad banks? What are bad banks all about? See, the former chief economic advisor Arvind Subramaniam in his economic survey, in the economic survey 2016 and 17, has proposed a term called as PARA, Public Sector Asset Rehabilitation Agency. So this PARA will buy a bad loans from the public sector, and from that they will start restructuring of the loans, liquidation auction, and observe the losses from that. I'll tell you how it works and what are the things that are been proposed in the budget 2021 also. See, bad banks are also called as ARC or AMC, Asset Reconstruction Company or Asset Management Company. So what they will do, simply I will tell you with an example. Suppose there is a bank called as SBI, and SBI is having a loan of worth 1000 crores of rupees, which it has been given to some borrower A. Okay, some borrower A. Now the borrower A has defaulted, loans has been defaulted. So what they do, this SBI under the budget 2020 and 21 I think 21 and 22 they have created, now they are going to set up ARC, Asset Reconstruction Company or the Asset Management Company. Now under this, you know what they will do, simply the A is defaulting, has defaulted the loan. So when A has defaulted the loan, now what will happen, you see, A has defaulted the loan and SBI could not collect or recover the loan. Now it has gone into bad loans, or we can say that it is write off. The loans has been written off, or stressed asset. It has become a stressed after your NPA plus reconstruction of loan defaulted. So it has become a stressed asset. So what happens now, the SBI will approach one of the ARC, Asset Reconstruction Company, and they will say, sir, I have 1000 crores of loan. Now this is a bad loan. So will you buy? Now ARC said, okay, I will buy it, no problem. Then SBI say, sir, give me 60% off on the loan, that is 600 crores. 600 crores are demanded by the SBI. But ARC said, sir, as it is a bad loan, whether I will get or not, I also don't know. I have to recover it. So do one thing, sir, under this, you take 40% or not even 40%, sir, 25% of the loan. I can give you that much. If you want to give me, you can give me. So under this 25% of the, that means 250 crores will be, for 250 crores they will buy that loan and they will start recovering the loan. ARC will start recovering loan by selling their assets, etc., catching them, etc. This is called Asset Reconstruction Company or the bad loan. Okay, so they will be set up and government will not have, see, directly in this ARC budget 2021 said that government will not have any shareholding. Government will not have any shareholding in this company. Banks will set these organizations up to their own funds. Based on their own funds, the banks will set the organization. Clear? Now, you see, what are bad banks? Bad banks are asset reconstruction companies set up by the bad loans and other liquidity holding for another financial institute. So the financial institute will sell non-performing assets to the banks at lower than the market price. Right? Just now I told you, the bank Bad banks will then try to recover as much as possible from the stressed. So the bad bank will not be lending. See, bad banks will not lend or deposit. They will not have any kind of deposition, but will help in commercial bank clean up balance sheets or stressed resolve the bad loans. So the first bad bank was created in 1988 by the USA, and it is called Mellon Bank, and is implemented in so many countries like Sweden, Finland, France, Germany. And benefits: the bad bank improve the value of public sector that has suffered from the bad loans. Yeah, what the bank will say here, SBI, out of 1000 crores I am getting only 250. कुछ ना कुछ तो मिल रहा है ना. So it is not going waste totally. So something he is getting. So that is called as, that is a major motive. Something they are getting out of 250 crores, and they will recover. The ARC will recover the total amount of money. That means whatever they can recover it, right? And bad banks. So this is about your bad banks. Now there is one term called as PMC, Promptive Corrective Action, PAC framework, Promptive Corrective Action Framework. What is this Promptive Corrective Action Framework? Actually, it was initiated in the year 2002 by the RBI governor at that time, Bimal Jalan Sahab designed this for all scheduled banks except RRBs. But 2017 was the year where Urjit Patel Sahab has designed a tougher norms. Patel has designed a tougher norms of this. And 2018 NABARD announced a PCA for RRBs. So 2018 NABARD announced PCA for RRBs. Okay. What is there in the PCA? First of all, what is there in the PCA? See, promptive corrective action. See how it will come. Suppose there is a bank called as A. Suppose there is a RBI and there is a bank. Okay, Bank of Baroda or any bank is there. Now suppose this bank NPAs are rising, and through moral suasion, the qualitative measures, quantitative and qualitative, and the qualitative measures, RBI first they will tell, यार आपका बैंक कुछ अच्छा काम नहीं कर रहा, देख लो. Informal way they will inform. Just still the bank's directions are ignored by the bank, RBI directions are ignored by the bank. Then RBI said, अब तो कुछ गलत है आपके काम में, मुझे कुछ करना ही पड़ेगा. I have to take some action. That is called direct action. Now RBI will place the Bank of Baroda under the PCA, Promptive Corrective Action. Once they place in the PCA, the banks cannot lend any more to the borrowers. So what they will do? Here you see what they will do. First one, RBI giving strict warning, conduct deeper audit and supervision. Number one. Second action is restrict bank directors' salaries and dividend distribution. Bank directors' salaries and dividend distribution, okay, to the investors. Third one, what they will do is they can restrict bank branch expansion and lending operations. Just now I told you. So bank expansion, so no, the bank cannot open any new branches during this period. So restriction on bank expansion and lending operations. Fourth is simple, they will force the forcing merging or mergering of banks, merger of banks will take place, or shut down of weak banks according to Bank Regulation Act 1949. Okay, so as of 2020 February, 4 PSBs such as February 2020, this is a news which came out at the time. 4 PSBs were under the PCA, and this will change dynamically, so it is no need to remember. Indian Overseas Bank, Central Bank of India, now they have merged also. Some of the banks have been merged. Okay, so this is about promptive corrective action. So what they will do, they will start auditing, they will restrict the bank's director's salary and dividend. Third, they will restrict the branch expansion. Fourth, forcing merger, they will start merging it, right? So these are the some of the things why, in order to maintain these Basel norms, etc. So otherwise it will not be the bank has to maintain asset quality and also capital sufficiently under the Basel norms. They are monitoring this, they are monitored for quality assets. See, why they are monitored is two things. One, asset quality or NPA. Second is Basel norms, to follow these Basel norms, Basel 3 norms, right? This is prompt to corrective framework. Next, we will see about the ACE 3.0 digital data driven. What is this ACE? This is enhanced access and service excellence. Okay, this is enhanced access and service excellence, that is called ACE, agenda 2018. So it was started in the year, actually 2018. Later on it was changed. I will tell you what are the current also. See what they do. In October 2017, government announced 2 lakhs of recapitalization package for PSBs. Okay, and 2017 November, the first public sector banks organized by Mathan, the organized by Department of Financial Services based on the participants' input, right? So 2018 January, Finance Department or Services released this ACE framework. So 2018 they released. Now they have 6 pillars here. The first pillar is customer supportive, customer responsiveness. Second, responsible backing, that is reducing NPAs, prevent frauds. Third, credit offtake. So what they do, try to reach out potential borrowers for home, auto and education loans. Fourth period is help MSME sectors. And fifth one, deepening financial inclusion and digitalization. Financial inclusion and digitalization. And also, one more thing, employees human resource management. Sixth is HRM, human resource management. So in the ACE 3.0, what happened? Smart lending for aspiring India, hardwiring sound banking through IT solutions, collective and recovery management system, early warning signals for SOP drive remedial actions, then also technological based aging of banks, governance and output. Okay, these are the things, nothing but doorstep banking, dial a loan, credit click, palm banking, that is you are using phone or tablet bankings has been there in this ACE 3.0 technological enabled banking services 2021, right? So this was the thing. Now, what are the shadow banks? We have to know what are these shadow banks and how it is going to work. See, the shadow banks was coined by Paul McCulley in 2007 with specific reference to American non-banking financial institutions. They used short-term deposits to finance long-term loans. See here. It refers to all the non-banking financial intermediaries that provide services similar to those of traditional commercial banks, but they carry out traditional banking function, but they are outside the traditional system of regulatory depository institutions. Simply, shadow bankings are, meaning of shadow banking is a set of activities and institutions they operate partially or fully outside the traditional commercial banking sectors. So they operate outside commercial banking sectors. So they are not regulated, they are not fully regulated by the RBI. So shadow banking system can be composed of single institution or multiple institution, forming a chain. Now how they do? They mobilize the funds through borrowing from banks, and issue, what they do generally, they issue commercial papers with them, okay, CP, and bonds, and commercial papers and bonds. What are the bonds here? They are non-convertible bonds. They are non-convertible bonds in this case. So banks act, they act like a banking, but they are traditionally out of banking sector regulations. Okay, like you see, there are three things what they do: maturity transformation, banking activities, credit intermediaries. What they do, three things are there, three important segments. One is HFCCS, called as house financial companies. Second is LDMFS, liquidity debt mutual funds. Third, retail non-banking financial sectors. Retail non-banking financial sectors or companies such as gold loans companies, etc. Okay, so shadow banking system assets are risky and illiquidity. If these bank fail or bank run situation comes, the depositors demanding the money, the shadow banks cannot honor the obligations. So there is a crisis called as IL&FS crisis in the year 2019. It is nothing but your banking, shadow banking only, right? So these are the some of the things. See, what happened was, that under the Companies Act, shadow banking, what are the remedies now? If they are following these things, what are the remedies that are taking place? So how to help this shadow banking? See, loan generally, I'll tell you example. Suppose the loans are given for infrastructure or projects like port, highways, etc. So if the loans are given to the company, a company XYZ Limited, and the loans are given to this company, and the loans are taken by this company and they are going for land acquisition, and there is a delay in the land acquisition. Okay, there is a delay. So can I say that overall project will be delayed? And if their overall project is delayed, then whatever the money which has been pulled through the loans, etc., they are not paying the interest and your this thing also, then can I say that it will be failed? The company is failed to provide the loans to these banks or wherever they are they are taking the loans. So in this case, they have failed it. Okay, they have failed it. So delay of the projects, they are not able to pay the principal plus interest. So it fails. Generally, they fail it. So under the Atmanirbhar RBI is helping these NBFCs. It is a part of your NBFC, non-banking financial companies. So what they are doing, they are simply, what they are doing is RBI launched a program called as TLTRO, called as Total Long-Term Repo Rate Operations. Okay. Then also special liquidity window for them, and government has announced for them, partial credit guarantee, special liquidity scheme, and also third one is credit guarantee enhancement corporations for these companies, for these shadow banking systems. And also under the Companies Act, Ministry of Corporate Affairs replaced, one more thing, under the Companies Act, Ministry of Corporate Affairs replaced the IL&FS board, the board members. Uday Kotak made the new chairman for this IL&FS. And also Ministry of Corporate Affairs constituted a statutory body called as National Financial Reporting Authority. Okay, it is under this thing. So, and also Corporate Affairs Minister, serious fraud investigation into this thing, right? And the Financial Act, one more thing, the Financial Act 2019 has government amended the RBI Act 1934, increase the powers of RBI. Now RBI will regulate NBFCs, right? They can, RBI can remove NBFC board directors, debar in auditors, can inspect NBFCs or any associated group, and also force the mergers, and higher penalties can be imposed on shadow banking.